This video is going to be about how you solve quadratic equations using a method called completing the square. Now, in an earlier video you'll have seen that we looked at how to solve these by factorising, and I think that's usually the easiest method to do it. So I'll try that first. I'll find the factors of 11, so that's only 1 and 11, and see if I can make 6 from that by adding or subtracting them. So 1 add 11 is 12, and 11 take away 1 is 10. So I can't do this question using the factorising method. I need a different one. I'll use this completing the square method. So the method works like this. I'm going to put in brackets x plus 3. I'm using 3 because it's half of the 6 here. So x plus 3, and then I'm going to square it. I'm now going to work out what this would give me. Well, if I square anything, it means I'm multiplying it by itself. So that means I'm doing x plus 3 times by x plus 3. If I use the FOIL method to expand that out, do the first one times the first one, that's x squared. The outside one multiplied by the other outside one, plus 3x. The inside one times the other inside one, plus another 3x. And then finally, the last one in that bracket multiplied by the last one in that bracket, plus 9. If I simplify that, I get x squared, add 6x, add 9, what I need to do now is compare this line to this line at the top. Now, we want x squared add 6x minus 11 equals 0. What we've got is x squared add 6x add 9. I need to work out what I need to do to go from 9 to get to minus 11. So imagine if you were looking at a number line, if you were at 9 and you needed to get to minus 11, you would take away 20, and I'm going to write that here. The reason I'm writing it there is because what I want you to understand is, if I expand this part out here, I get that, take away 20, and then that I get that line. So this line here is worth exactly the same as this line here. And it's this line that I'm now going to use to solve my quadratic equation. I'm just going to write that line out one more time. X plus 3 all squared minus 20 equals 0. I now want to work out where x is. So what I've done to x is I've added 3, then I've squared the answer, and then subtracted 20. And I need to reverse that process. So the inverse of subtract 20 is add 20. So I'm going to do that to both sides. So I get x plus 3 all squared now equals positive 20. I now need to undo the squared. Opposite of squared, the inverse of it, is to square root. So x plus 3 equals the square root of 20. This is the bit we have to be careful, because the square root of 20 is actually plus or minus 20. Sorry, it's actually plus or minus the square root of 20. Think of it like this. The square root of 4 you'd often think of as 2, because 2 times 2 is 4. Well, the square root of 4 is also minus 2, because minus 2 times minus 2 is also 4. So in the same way, if we square root any number like this, we have to put plus or minus the square root of 20. So finally, x is going to be, I've got to get rid of this plus 3, so I'm going to subtract it. So I get plus or minus the square root of 20 minus 3. So I've got two options to work out. The first one, x equals plus the square root of 20 minus 3. That'll give me one answer. And I've also got to do x equals minus the square root of 20 minus 3. And I get an answer. So if I get my calculator here, I'll do this one first. The square root of 20, I'll press this right arrow so that we come out of the square root, minus 3, and that equals, see on the calculator there, minus 3 plus 2 root 5. They simplified that, and that's using a different topic called surds. I press the change button and I get 1.472135955. I'm going to round that to 2 decimal places. You'll be told what to do in your exam question if you have to do that. To 2 decimal places, that is 1.47. To get my other solution, I need to minus the square root of 20. And I have to press this button here that's in brackets to get my minus. So minus the square root of 20, press the right button to come out the square root, take away 3, and I get an answer of minus 3 minus 2 root 5. Press the change button, and to 2 decimal places I get minus 7.47. And they are my 2 solutions. So now I have some questions for you. Question 1, I would like you to use this method to solve x squared add 7x minus 9 equals 0. I'm going to change that question slightly. In fact, I'll change it completely. I want you to first of all solve x squared add 8x minus 13 equals 0. And then secondly, do the question which I wrote at the top before. X squared add 7x minus 9 equals 0.